Everyone. One of the first questions I'm often asked is, Alpesh, where do I start? There seems to be so much information. You're giving us so much invaluable information from the 12-week course and the Saturday webinars and the emails you send us and the Telegram channel. I'm overwhelmed. Don't be. I'm trying to give you tons and tons of value, so you should never feel overwhelmed. If ever you're confused where to start, go to the manual. Okay, it's a great place. And don't forget, you can always reach out to me. Go to pipspredator.com. You will see on there under useful links every single which way under the sun to contact me. All right. So there's no excuses. Everything from emails to phone numbers to WhatsApp. There's no excuse for ever being confused. The first place to start is always the manual. All right. Now, if you want to just do a light touch, you do the trading and you've got the manual. If you want to be really involved, you do the 12-week course, which you can do in less than 12 weeks, obviously, and you've got it for life. And the 30-day course. What's the difference between the two? The 30-day course is more focused on Forex and is for total beginners. The 12-week course is to take you to being a proper professional level trader. Now, I said 12 weeks because it's how long it'll probably take most people, but you might be quicker. Might only take you 30 days. You have it for life anyway. Okay, but that's if you want to be totally involved. For those who just want to know, where do I start? You start with the manual. Now, having said that, you might say, well, how do I set up the screen, Alpesh? Now, remember, once you've installed the indicator, and here we're working with Predator version 4 for the purposes of this video, and I've drawn it there, okay? To put it onto any particular chart, you would just drag and drop it into the chart, okay? And then it will show up there. Now, how do you pick the various things you're going to monitor? Well, I've done a separate video on that, on choosing all of these instruments. Which are the ones that I prefer? Which do I like? Which should you pick? Okay, and which windows do you select? And which time frames? I've done a separate one on that, but it also happens to be in the manual as well. And you can always reach out to me if ever you're unsure. Now, let's say you open one of these windows. Let's say you find one of these instruments. You want to arrange these windows. You click to Window, Tile Window. All right. And let's say you don't like the background color of all of this. Well, that's easy enough to change. You can always change the background colors. So what did I do there? I right clicked and then I went to properties, right? So there it was. There's another useful thing you need to know with all of this. If you hover the mouse over any of the indicator arrows like we have here, and then you click on Alpesh Patel. So you hover the mouse over it and you right click, okay, and Alpesh Patel indicator properties, and you'll see a box like this come up. And under inputs, you can see, and sometimes people say, oh, the font size is wrong. You can change the font size. You can change the offset, especially when might you use that? If on your screen, because you've got a high resolution screen or whatever, this all looks all jumbled up, all these letters are overlapping and they're messed up, then to show it again, right click there, properties, and play around with the font size and the offset. That will help with all of that. Okay. In terms of, you can also see with all of this how you can play around with those numbers. And where if you want to show how to add to your positions and exit arrows and so on. And that's all covered in the manual, how to use those. But like I said, that was right click on any of the indicator, hover above the indicator arrows, and then look under inputs and then save it. Okay, so that's how we set that up. That's where you start. What you would then do 15 minutes a day before and after work, or for an hour on or whenever you want, whenever you've got time, is you would scan each of these windows, by which I mean you open them up and look at them. All right. And in those 15 minutes, you would find, let's say, a signal where the price is near the entry signal. Okay. So wherever the price, which is this, and this one isn't near an entry signal, but let's say it was near an entry signal, and you would place that trade, not necessarily on MT4, which is this platform, but on the broker's user-friendly platform, which usually isn't the MT4 one. It's any broker, any broker's platform, and you would place the trade, okay, to buy or sell. You can see the sell price is written there. You can see the stop loss is written there. So you would place the sell, which is that, and If you're more advanced, and I won't talk about it here, but I've done a separate video on that as well. Under the 12-week course, you'd find all these videos. Okay, there tells you where to add to the winners and how to put its stop loss. So all of that's in the 12-week course anyway. As you go through it, you'll see that. And this is the stop loss. So it's giving you all the data. It's written up here. How much money to put into a trade is explained here. I always say start with a demo account anyway, so it's not an issue. And like I said, you can always email me, always contact me on all of this. So what have we covered? We've covered how to install the indicator, how to set up the color of the screen, how to make these windows appear. And by the way, if you wanted to draw more instruments in, let's say you wanted to draw across, for argument's sake, New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, you just drag that across. That's how the windows would operate. If you wanted to show, you just drag and I'm doing a recording, I can't show it on here, and then the window would appear and you'd put the instrument on. You can also save any of these windows as a template. Okay, so you can see the templates there. So if you've got a particular window, you can say, well, I want to save this particular instrument as a template, and you can name it. So you can put save template and give it a name, like I've given the name Pipspredator, so that the next time I want to load it, I just can click on templates and put load template, or it'll appear down here. You can see it's there, Pipspredator. That'll save a lot of time. Every instrument you have, you can see here we had a sell signal, and there it goes, and it's dropping like a rock, which is great. Now, what a lot of people do, and I've done a separate video on entry and exit, what a lot of people do is they say, well, I'll enter whenever I see the price near the entry signal, and I will exit whenever I see the red arrow, the opposite arrow. And that's fine. That's one way of doing it. Another way is that you'll say, I'll enter and I'll have my trailing stop loss, which will get me out. A third way people say is, well, Alpesh, do I need to set alerts up? No, you don't need to set alerts up. And that's because your entry will automatically get you out on a stop loss. The other reason you don't need to set alerts up is because, as I've said, you're going to be scanning these markets to place one trade. You're going to scan these markets for 15 minutes a day and place one trade a day. Now you say, Alpesh, I want to trade loads more. Well, you can if you want. You can stay on top of the screen and place a lot more trades. But given that, imagine you placed 1 million trades. Let's take an extreme example. You won't have enough money to put into each trade. That's why I said one trade a day, but you might want to do more than that. And like I said, I've already done separate videos on time of day to trade and what to trade and all the other aspects. But this was just in terms of where to start. The place you're starting is the manual, and the manual will take you through explaining all of this. And you've always got access to me. Don't try and rush it. Don't come back to me in a week and say, oh, Alpesh, I can't, it's too much. It's over. Well, remember, you're trying to compress 10 years worth of education into 30 days. And that's fine. It is doable. It is plausible, because we're only going to focus on the most important things. So don't ever be overwhelmed. You've always got access to me. Okay.